Okay. What I want to show you here is kind of weird. I want to show you what happens when we use an object. So in my language, that would be one of these special types or a beveled box in a command when we're doing a function, because I've been a little bit wishy-washy about what happens. And I want to get a little bit more careful and clear here. So let's take a look. Um, Suppose that we say pick red gets make empty picture. And you may not be familiar with this command, but that's okay. It makes an empty picture that is 500 pixels by 500 pixels and makes it all red. Okay, so I'm going to make an empty picture that's 500 by 500 that's all red and put it into a box called pick red, of course, in my command area. There we go. Okay, pick red is of type pick, and there's my picture. And I'm going to explore pick red. If I say explore pick red, of course, it pops up a little explore window with a picture that's all red. Let's make a pick green also. So we're going to make an empty picture that's 500 by 500 and green. We get a new box in the command area. We'll explore pick green and up it pops. Okay. We're also going to make a pick blue. And we'll explore pick blue and up goes the pick blue. Okay. So far so good. Now comes some fun. Let's run our switcheroo function, but this time we're going to run it on these three pictures. So as normal, we always draw our piece of scrap paper and we write switcheroo on it. That's what we always do. We look at the definition of switcheroo and we make foo, bar, and baz just like before, right? 3 boxes here. We look in the definition, 3 boxes. But the truth is that Python, we look to see what should we copy, and it says copy pick red, pick green, and pick blue. But Python tries when you have as arguments to a function, when you have something that is one of these special types. So pick red is obviously a picture, pick green's a picture, pick blue is a picture. They're not ints, they're not floats, they're not strings. They could be really, really huge. And so Python's a little bit frugal and it says, you know what, I'm not actually going to copy the whole picture. What I'm going to do is into foo, right, which should get pick red, I'm just going to make an arrow to the picture and say, you know what, I'm not going to copy it all. It's over there. If I ever need to look at it, I can look at it. And what you want to think of this arrow representing is what's in here is actually whatever the tip of the arrow is pointing at. All right? So similarly, what gets copied into bar? Well, pick green. We're not going to actually copy the whole beveled box. We're going to just put a little arrow pointing at that box. Okay? And same with baz. We're not going to copy the whole box. We're just going to put an arrow. Okay? So now we're ready to run our function, keeping in mind that really it's the tips of the arrows that tell us what's in these boxes. So this says baz gets bar. All right, so what is bar? Well, bar is the tip of this arrow. Bar is this thing, and we want to put that into baz. So what I'm going to do is effectively I'm going to cross off this arrow and make a new arrow that points to here. And to do that, I'm going to kind of draw it like this. So there's the old arrow crossed off, and now baz points to the same thing that bar does. Okay. Next line of code says bar gets foo. So what's foo? Well, foo is an arrowhead that points to here, so we got to make bar be an arrowhead that points to here. So we're going to gray out and dotted line this one, and we're going to point bar at that instead. So let's do that. There you go. Last line of code says foo gets baz. So this guy is no longer going to point here. It's going to point wherever baz points. Well, baz points to this green one, so now this foo box should point at the green one. Bingo, it does. And again, I just left the dotted line out there as kind of the cross out that we would usually put in the box. Okay, it says return foo. Well, Python does kind of, you know, is a little stingy with its stuff, but when it returns, it actually makes a new copy for you. So when we say return foo, it says, well, what's foo? Foo is this thing. Let's make a copy of that and put it in a bubble. So it makes a copy of that picture and puts it in a bubble. Of course, as soon as a function is done, we cross out everything associated with that function. So I'm going to do a big X here and get rid of all those arrows. Goodbye, arrows. All right. We still have our return value. Where are we going to use it? Let's see. It says result gets run switcheroo of this. Well, we ran switcheroo Our answer was this, so we need to make a new box in our command area called result that gets that guy in there. So we do that, and goodbye. Whew, we're done. So suppose the next line of code says explore, pick red. Well, what's pick red? It's a red picture, so when we explore it, boom, up pops the red picture. If we say explore, pick green, of course, up pops the green picture. If we say explore, pick blue, up pops the blue picture. And if we say explore result, well, result is another copy of a green picture, so there it goes. Okay. So that is kind of what happens when you pass beveled boxes in as arguments to a function, right? When you pass them in as arguments, they end up with arrows pointing to them rather than copying them, so we don't use up so much memory. But when we do the return part, the bubble still gets a new one just so that we have a new copy to go back. All right, that's it.